So it's the 1st of September today, which means that it is now the start of both Bookoplathon and the Magical Readathon. I'm really excited about both. Got quite an ambitious TBR for this month. Plus, I still need to finish The Dead in the Dark and Heir of Fire, because I started them last month and then I just didn't have enough time at the end of the month. So somehow going to squeeze it in. But I've got a plan. So my plans for reading this week, I want to read Mooncakes, Deathnote Volume 1. And then I've got a thriller called The Housemate. And I'm also going to read Certain Dark Things, which kind of feels ambitious, but also like I'm giving myself 5 days to read Certain Dark Things. Well, I'm giving myself 5 days to read all of these. It actually feels kind of doable because like Mooncakes is a graphic novel, Deathnote Volume 1 is a manga, so they both shouldn't take too long. Like I'd reckon maybe 3 hours maximum for each, and that's like giving them a lot of time. Like I probably finish them in an hour maybe, I don't know. And then obviously an audiobook I can just kind of put on in the background. So like I don't think it's unrealistic to think that I'll get the audiobook done, because it's just one audiobook. And I can't remember how long it is, like maybe 7 hours, maybe 10. I don't know. I should get through it, no problem. And then, so Certain Dark Things is the one that could be like hit and miss, but also 5 days to read a book is not bad, because 5 days would also include my weekend, where obviously I've got a lot of time to read. So that's my plan, and I'm also going to try and read like 6% of Heir of Fire each day, because like I figured out if I read 6% each day I'd finish it before my library loan expired. Hopefully I'll also finish The Dead in the Dark this week, but it's gonna be like lower priority now because I want to kind of get my TBR done, but I am planning on finishing it. I just don't know when. So yes, welcome to my week of spooky vibes reading, I guess. I'm just hopping on because I've just started Certain Dark Things, so already off to a great start. I'm not going to get 20% of this book read today. And the author note at the start's got me slightly crying. So the book is dedicated to Robles. He's an actor, or was an actor. The name kind of rings a bell, but I'm not sure how it's pronounced. And the author's talking about how like she always wanted to meet this actor. And that she had this plan where she was going to dedicate the book to him, and then when it was published, mail it out. And then he died before the book came out, and it's just really sad. But she says, I've only cried once. She says, I've only cried over one celebrity's death. It was Robles. Certain Dark Things is back, and it's still dedicated to Sherman Robles. I like to think he had something to do with its revival, seeing as he was never able to stay in his coffin, which I think is absolutely beautiful. And this is the first book that I've read by this author, so I'm hoping that's a sign of, what am I saying? I'm hoping that's a sign of her writing, because if it is, that I think I'm going to adore this book. It's day 2 of Bookoplathon. I sound really dreary about that. I've just finished work. Well, I say I've just finished work. I finished work maybe 2 hours ago, but this is me just home. And hopefully I can get some reading done before I have to go to sleep, before I'm back in work tonight. Rambling, sorry. I read more of Certain Dark Things than I expected yesterday. I got to 12% and I'm really enjoying it so far. Alexa, stop. Yeah, I'm loving that it's a really different take on like vampire mythos than I've seen before, and I love that it also kind of pokes fun at the very sort of Anglo-centric like vampire mythos that you tend to get. So I'm really enjoying that, and obviously I'm continuing to read Heir of Fire, which isn't on like any of my TBRs, but it's a library loan, so I need to try and get it finished. But I'm making okay progress. I think I'm about 1/5 of the way through Heir of Fire, which is decent because I've got about 15 days left, so I've definitely got time. That's pretty much where I'm at this point in time. I'm hoping to read a few more pages of Heir of Fire, and then I need to try and get to 40% of Certain Dark Things today, which I don't know, depends what time I wake up later. So it's Friday morning and I'm still kind of behind with my reading. I think I'm only about 16% into Certain Dark Things, but it's almost the weekend, so hopefully I'll be able to get some reading done this weekend. I mean, that's the plan. But I've got my second vaccine today. Yeah, so I've got my second vaccine today, and like assuming I feel okay after it, I've got one more shift at work tonight. If I'm not feeling okay, then obviously I will be in work and I'll get some reading done, but hopefully I feel okay.
You ever think about it sometimes? Found where it all fell apart. 'Cause I've been losing my mind. Hell, I've lost my heart. Don't know when or how it got so messed up. We started off so damn right, but you left the place that we called love. I still remember that night.
I'm double vaxxed. I feel like right now I'm playing a game of, is it the vaccine or am I just tired? I'm leaning towards just tired, but I don't know. And I just missed the bus and there's not another for like 35 minutes, so smart old me decided to start walking home. And now I'm like, am I going the right way? I don't know. But also it'll be interesting to see if I get home before I meet up with a bus. Please excuse the pyjamas and that I'm feeling a bit out of it. I've not long woken up, and also like I am feeling a bit sick, a bit dizzy, but all good. But this arrived today and I'm pretty sure it's not meant to be out until next month, so I'm so excited. It's 11 PM and obviously I'm at home, so clearly I didn't feel up for going into work tonight. So I've just kind of been reading for a few hours, trying to take it easy on myself. It's been good. I am absolutely adoring Certain Dark Things. Like, clearly so much thought has gone into this world into the lore behind the vampires. It's just such a well-crafted world, and I'm loving it so much. Like, this book definitely has a potential to be a 5-star read. And then I've made a start on Mooncakes, which is the September Queer Picture Book Club pick, and it's a reread for me, so I know I love it. I'm just wondering if it's still going to be a 5-star for me. It's giving me all the right kind of vibes, because it's like a witch and a werewolf, and like a demon as well, I think, but like the demon's obviously the antagonist. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that as well. Because I didn't make it into work tonight, I haven't listened to the audiobook that I planned to, but hopefully I can squeeze it in this weekend. I don't know. I'm going to be focusing on Certain Dark Things, Mooncakes and Deathnote, but also like I will be continuing to read 6% of Heir of Fire each day. But right now I'm thinking I'm going to go to bed because I'm feeling so tired and just generally a bit unwell. So I am going to do something I don't normally do and take my phone with me to bed so I can watch some movies or something. And I guess see you in the morning. Good morning. It's about 6:30, hence why the lighting is pathetic. I didn't sleep very well, so this could be a long day. But I think my plan is just to get on with reading. I need to go to the library today, which doesn't open until 10. And I also probably need to pop into town because I decided to buy a book from Waterstones and get it delivered to store. Not quite sure why I did that. So those are kind of the two things I need to achieve today. And also try and read as much as possible. Thankfully, I was able to finally get some decent sleep yesterday. Like, annoyingly, I fell asleep during G's reading sprints, but I feel a lot more human now that I've actually got some decent rest. And yeah, I finished Mooncakes yesterday, and I would say it's not quite a 5-star, like it's a really good, like solid 4.75. It just didn't give me quite 5-star feels. I've got about half of Certain Dark Things left, and then I've still got to read Deathnote. I've basically like given up on the idea of listening to The Housemate this week, which I kind of expected because I wasn't in work on Friday, so I figured I probably wouldn't manage to listen to The Housemate this week. But I've really enjoyed like the kind of creepy, spooky vibes that I've got from the books that I've read this week. So I guess get stuck into Certain Dark Things, and hopefully I will finish it today. I just finished Certain Dark Things, and it's 100% a 5-star read. I absolutely adored it. The gritty Mexico cities, a fantastic backdrop. The vampire lore is so well thought out, to the point that at the end of the book you've got like a glossary encyclopedia of vampires and stuff. So you meet all the different subspecies of vampires that don't even exist during the main body of the text. So I absolutely adore it, and now all I want to do is read all of the author's other works because I'm in love with her writing. It's just beautiful. Yeah, I think now I'm gonna move on to Deathnote. my plan is just to read volume 1, but I do have volumes 1 through 3, so I may end up reading 3 volumes today. I don't know.
I think I was never in love with you, and how most of the time I thought I don't even like you. I knew you just weren't right. Yeah, I was in love with someone I wish you were. Loved you, I was close, kept you just a blur. I couldn't face it, but now I do. Truth is, I was never in love with you. Truth is, I was never in love. Now that I've had a real taste of what a healthy love should be.
I finished Deathnote volume 1 and I really enjoyed it. I'm actually surprised at how much I loved the character of the Shinigami, the god of death. It's just such a great character. I kind of want to read the other 2 volumes that I own, but since I don't own the rest of the series, I also think I should probably take my time. I think what I'm actually probably going to read now is ExtraOrdinary, because I'm just absolutely desperate to read it.
I see how much of a waste my love was on you, maybe.
I'm only on the 3rd page of ExtraOrdinary and already I'm obsessed. So something V.E. Schwab often says on her social media, on her Instagram stories, is about how the brain has a hard time listening and talking at the same time. So basically, if your brain's talking too loudly, listening to something will help shut out that chatter, and it resonates so much with me. And she's literally included it as a line in ExtraOrdinary, and it just makes me so happy.
I needed to be heard by someone like you, damage done. Now that I felt the dirt, I know a diamond when I see one.
Oh my gosh, the ending to ExtraOrdinary is so good. Oh, I haven't read the second book in the villain series, so I'm be really interested to see how this potentially ties in. But I hope there's more to this. Obviously, unless Vengeful wraps up everything. But I also know that this series isn't finished, so I presume it won't wrap everything up. Oh, it's so good. I'm so happy I've got to read this. And the artwork's absolutely gorgeous. Oh, I love V. Schwab's work so much. So completely finished ExtraOrdinary now. And I've read all the extra material at the end. So what I can gather is that, apart from Victor, Eli, and Stell, you haven't met any of the other characters in the villain series. But there's a suggestion that Charlotte, your protagonist in ExtraOrdinary, will appear in the 3rd villains novel, which I know is quite a few years down the line, because I believe it's going Threads of Power and then villains, possibly. But I think we're getting the Threads of Power trilogy, which Schwab's only just writing now, and then it'll be the third villains book, possibly. I'm not sure. I do follow her on social media because I love her work. But I know that we won't be getting the next villains novel for a while. So that's really cool that you're kind of starting to see characters that may have a part to play in future books. I suppose my only slight criticism is that I'd heard that the character Felix was non-binary, and I was so here for it. And like, it's coded, it's not explicit, or at least I didn't pick up on anything explicit in the text that told me that Felix was non-binary, which is a little bit disappointing. I'm just gonna grab the comic and see if I can pick up anything like from the comic that wasn't so obvious from the bind up. I don't know, maybe there'll be something in there. Yeah, so this is the comic that features Felix on the front. Yeah, I bought just this comic because it's so freaking cool. But yeah, unfortunately, if Felix being non-binary is coded at best. Like, it's difficult because clearly Schwab has written Felix as non-binary and it's not an afterthought. And also, like, it doesn't have to be a thing, if that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too picky. But also, when you make a big deal about this character being non-binary, and then there's nothing in the text that says they're non-binary. I mean, even if it was just like a single use of a neutral pronoun, and that is assuming that Felix uses they, them pronouns. You don't know. But I would have liked it to be just a hair more explicit. But otherwise, I absolutely adored it. I think it's another 4.75 read. So altogether, I've had a really good first week of Bookoplathon / Magical Readathon. I finished Certain Dark Things, absolutely adored it, 5-star read. I've also read Mooncakes, which was a reread for me and is this month's Queer Pitch Book Club pick. It's pretty close to being a 5-star, but it just didn't quite give me the 5-star feels. So that was a 4.75 star. I also read volume 1 of Deathnote and I'm really enjoying it. It's nothing like I expected it to be. I'm absolutely obsessed with the Shinigami god of death, and I'm really intrigued by the character of L as well, and Light is just a little bit unhinged, I guess. I don't know, like, I feel like Light has good intentions, but also essentially they think that people should die. I don't know. What am I trying to say? Like, they think the world should work how they think the world should work, and their way's the only right way. So it'll be interesting to see if they have any character growth, and I'm also just so intrigued to see what happens with the Shinigami. And then I've also read ExtraOrdinary, which I adored. And yeah, I'm a little bit critical of the fact that Felix isn't explicitly non-binary. But then again, if I hadn't been told that Felix was non-binary prior to reading this, it wouldn't have lowered my rating. So actually, on reflection, this is another 5-star. So really, really good reading week. And I'm really excited for what week 2 of Bookoplathon will bring. I think my plan for next week is Under the Whispering Door, A Spark of Light, and Miles Morales Shockwaves. So that should be fairly doable. I didn't manage to read the Housemate this week, so I'll have to try and squeeze that in later in the month. But off to a good start. And I guess I'll see you all next time. Bye.
There's a place